So sometimes when we're using click events, like we are inside the modal over here, when we're clicking the backdrop, we might want to modify when and how we react to them. For example, you might want to react to a right click instead of a standard left click on the mouse, or you may want to only react to click events if the user is also holding down a specific key, like the Alt key or the Shift key. Or in our case, with this modal right here, we only want to react to the click event if the user clicks on the element itself, the backdrop, and not on any child element inside it. Now, technically, if we click on the child element, we're still clicking on the backdrop because this is inside the backdrop. But I want to restrict maybe the click event to just this backdrop element and not if we click on the modal inside it. So to do all of these things, to react only in certain conditions for click events, we can use click event modifiers. And these modify how the click event is registered and when we react to them. So let's see some examples. I'm not going to do this just yet. First of all, I'm going to go to the app.view file where we have a button right here. And you can see we have a click event attached to it. So the way we attach a modifier to a click event is just by after the event saying dot and then the name of the modifier. And we can see all the modifiers right here. So for example, I could say right, and that would mean only react when it's a right click. And only then would we fire this function. So let's give that a whirl. Let's go to the browser. If I left click, doesn't work. If I right click, it does. Awesome. So we can do a similar thing, but this time I'm going to say dot and then we'll say shift. And that means only react to the click event if the shift key is down. So let me save that and try this out. Normal click doesn't work. If I hold down shift, then it does work. All right, so let's do one more. We'll say alt, and this is the same thing. The click event is only registered, and we only fire this function if the alt key is now held down as well. Let's try this. Normal click, nope. Alt click, it does work. All right, so let's keep it alt, and let's say inside here alt, so we remember. And then over here, I'm going to do another event modifier, or click event modifier to be specific, on this backdrop. And like I said before, we only want this to fire if we click on this element itself, and only this element, not any elements inside it. So to do that, we can just say dot self, and that does what we want. That means that only when we click on this, and this is the target of the event, will it fire this function. If we click on the modal inside that, then it's not going to fire that function. So let's save it and preview. Alt click to open, and then if we click inside the modal, this still closes. Let me see that again. Yep, it still closes. So let me just make sure I've saved. I have done, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to hard refresh over here, open this again, and now when we click, now it doesn't close. So I just needed to do a hard refresh. It didn't pick up that change. So if it doesn't do that for you as well, just make sure you press shift and refresh to hard refresh. Make sure it's got the correct version of the code and then try it. It shouldn't work. Okay, but if we click over here, it does work because that is the element we want the event attached to. So that is click event modifiers. We can have event modifiers for other types of events as well, which we will see later on.